Okay, this is the last breakdown of the week, which is Friday. I recorded it before. I did a whole video and he wasn't recording my voice. So I had to do it all over again. Jesus. Um, so let me see where I'm at. So now we have Thursday, candle closed. Now we could potentially have Friday to see what Friday's gonna do. Notice how Thursday closed. Thursday closed below Friday's low, right? So you could have a potential daily continuation on Friday to go lower, right? Because we don't have C2 closures, but we have the Thursday candle closing below Wednesdays. So that's a continuation, kind of like what we just did on the previous video with the hourly continuation. So, by the way, if these breakdowns are helping you out in any way, understanding better, maybe you're missing a piece of the concepts, maybe you're getting an aha moment, understanding a little bit better, leave me a comment, let me know so I can, it encourages me to continue doing it in the future. Again, I don't charge for this. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. But just let me know in the comments that this is being helpful and I can continue to do them. Anyways, so the bias is bearish for that day because of a daily continuation, right? So we put the high, we put the low, we put the midpoint, like always. I don't need to re-emphasize that all the time. So now we're just gonna go to 9 o'clock. So here it's gonna be 6, 7, and 8. So during this day, I took a short. If you want to go look at my executions, they're posted on my previous postings. So when I came into the charts, I was looking for a C2 closure here, maybe 8 sweeping 7 or 7 sweeping 6, but I didn't have any. By the way, if you look at what price did, price opened here, went lower and started making highs after that, but respected the daily open here. Price wasn't going above and were below previous day midpoint as well. So this aligns with our bearish bias that we have a bearish continuation because of hot Thursday close. So what I did is sometimes I use C2 closures from ES. I went and saw that ES 7 o'clock swept 6 o'clock. So now 8 o'clock is C3, which is playing out. And then we could potentially have C4, which is 9 to go lower. So I use that as my confluence on NQ. So what do I do now? I mark the midpoint of 8 o'clock candle here, right? You want price to respect the low of that and then go lower. You don't want 5-minute candle start closing above that because then we're probably taking this high, this high. So now that that's aligning, again, I'm using the C2 closures for ES. From ES, I go into the 5-minute time frame. I bring my candles there. It's a little bit messy. Let me just hide the 4-hour candles because we're not using them here in the daily candle. And we're just gonna have that. So remember, 7 swept 6 o'clock on ES. So now this is C3 and then potentially 9 C4. So what do I want 9 o'clock to do? You want it to go high and change the state of delivery and then, you know, see if we can go into a trade. And that's what happened here. You see how 9 open here, then went low. Price went into this fair value gap right here, which I like, into a POI, and then changed the state of delivery. In my execution, she showed that I enter here, but I enter at the closure of this candle. So sometimes it shows it here, but it wasn't there. It was at the closure. So technically, it was at the opening of the next candle. So either or is correct. At the closure of this candle, um, I enter, but You could wait for this kind of closure here to enter correctly. Um, you can enter your short here once this candle closes. And then I think this day I put my stop loss above the midpoint of 8 o'clock, because if I'm wrong, I don't want price to go above here, right? If I'm wrong, I'm not gonna put it here because that's too wide. If it goes above the midpoint, then I'm wrong because we already have a swing point here. So technically I could put it here if I wanted to, but I wanted to be safe and I put it there. And then from there you shoot for 2R. Now price is setting up to go lower, so now you start, just playing it out. Now, if I would have put it here, like I said, above this here, I would have gotten kicked out. That's why over time I develop and I see how sort of price behaves and I put my stop loss as strategic places. Because right here there was two fair value gaps. Look, there's a 5 minute fair value gap there, and then there's another one there. So if you put them together, price went and rebalanced and tapped the top fair value gap here. And my stop loss was safe there, so I'm okay there, right? And then we just shoot for 2R. So price is going in our favor, 925 open, which is this place lower. Now remember, 930 comes with volatility, so you have to be careful here about moving your stop loss right away, because the moment this candle went low like that, you probably would have think, oh, let me move my stop because he made another low, and then you put your stop into profit or even a break even here, you would have gotten kicked out. So I just submit to the stop loss because I know that 930 brings volatility, right? And then look, boom, another candle to the downside. So expansion to the upside met with expansion to the downside signifies a possible reversal, and then 2R hits here. And I think it goes below 2R. It goes more than 2R, but that right away, that play was done super fast. But again, the lesson here is that if you move your stop right away and you want to go in at 930, before 930, you have to be careful. 930 brings a lot of volatility. It could have gone all the way to this fair value up on top here, and that's why my stop was all the way up here. And I was done here with my 2R. Just the bias was created with the how Thursday closed. Thursday candle closed relative to the previous day, right? And this is how we formulated this. Now there was another play that I took later throughout the day. And this play was so funny here. If you would have looked for, by the way, if you would have looked for a continuation 10 o'clock, so 10 o'clock opens here, right? If you want a continuation, you want it to go high and then go low as 10 o'clock is opening. He went into this fair value up here, but we had already taken previous day low here, right? So you expect a retracement. And I don't know if the other indices took it. I forgot now. But 10 o'clock opens high and just keeps going high. It never changed the state of the delivery right here. It just keeps going and it didn't change there. Now at 10:30, it did, right? If you would have entered here, I have to see if the other indices took previous day low. I believe so. Let me see. Actually, no. You see how ES didn't take previous day low here? That is why I wouldn't have gone short at 10 o'clock because you have an SMT for a possible retracement deeper or a reversal to the upside. And if you do that here, that's why you always have to watch the other indices. Like if you do that here, your stop loss goes above the swing high. That's 124 handle. That's a very wide stop, and it's very wide. So if you do that, you just get kicked out. But why? Because ES did not take previous day low. And so therefore, when that happens, you expect a deeper retracement or you expect a reversal. And that's just based on the data I have collected over the years. Um, there was another potential play that happened, another play that actually happened, and I took two towards the end of the day. And I did something different here. Sometimes I do it. Let me guide you through it. So here, um, in here, you have this sweep here, right? You have a C2 closure there where 12 takes out 11, then you could potentially have 1 to go lower, but 1 did come low, but then it reversed. So then it's just kind of consolidated. It just didn't really do nothing here. Now, I was watching it at this around this time, 1400 hours. I wanted to see if C4 could go lower. Where? To this low and to this low. So there's some instances that I would not wait for the candle to go high first, like open high and then go low, when the previous candle had already gone into this POI, right? So look at 1 o'clock went into this 5 minute Ferrari gap. You respected it twice, one, two, three times. It was respecting it. So when 2 o'clock opened, this is where I entered. I didn't wait for it to go up first and then go lower because it had already hit this POI. So if I'm wrong, my stop loss is gonna go above here. If I'm wrong, it's gonna go up here, respect it again. And if I'm right, it's gonna go lower, go up, respect it, and go lower, or it's just gonna go lower because this POI has been hit. Now, this here has more chances of you getting stopped out. So that's why, because the reason why I wait for the candle to go up and then go low is to form that wick here, right? To form that wick here. But you see how 2 o'clock open high and then you have this rejection wick here? That sort of aligns with me like, okay, it's rejecting. But on the flip side, if it goes low first, it can maybe go high after and make a bottom wick and then go higher. So there's chances that you might get kicked out if you do this. So just keep that in mind. If you're able to take a loss and do this, which I'm able to take a loss with no problem, um, then that's why I did that. So my entry was here at the touch at 205 when he touched that order block right here. I went here. And this was one of the best trades I had in a while because this price action for July has been crap. This trade we just went straight to TP for me. My stop was above there in case I'm wrong. In case he wants to go tap the fair value gap back again. And then I exit. I believe I exit at the bodies of 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 these candles here. I exit at the bodies, not the actual wick. I exit at the bodies. I think I did that. If not, just look at my executions because it's hard to remember all these plays I do and explain them. But so check it out. Look at how price just goes. No green candles at all. It just goes straight. That's the kind of price action you want to get involved. Look at that. And I think eventually it takes this low here, consolidates a bit, but then eventually takes that low. That for me was like almost a 5R or a 5R plus because I exit at the bodies. But this was a nice play to straight to TP. Anyways, this concludes this weekly review. Again, let me know in the comments if you like this review so I can keep doing them. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a good weekend.